The rarest souls walk alone, not because they must, but because they were never meant to follow. Most people are predictable. They crave validation, they move in packs, and they follow scripts written for them long before they were even born. But then there are the Sigmas. These men exist outside the blueprint of society. They are not bound by its rules, nor seduced by its illusions. And here's the most terrifying fact about them. They didn't choose this path. They were born with it. Science says that only 0.01% of the population naturally embodies the Sigma archetype. But what makes them truly different isn't just their mindset, it's something far more profound. They possess spiritual gifts that most people will never understand, let alone master. These are not cheap party tricks or mystical gimmicks. We're talking about raw, untamed abilities, gifts that give Sigmas a nearly supernatural edge over the rest of the world. Some call them loners, some call them enigmas. Some are just mad that a Sigma can see straight through their nonsense with one glance. So buckle up, because today we're unraveling 10 powerful spiritual gifts that Sigmas are naturally born with, and trust me, after this, you'll never look at them the same way again. Number 1, the gift of energy resistance. Most people walk through life like open doors, letting in whatever energy comes their way, good, bad, or downright toxic. They absorb negativity without realizing it, get drained by emotional leeches, and wonder why they always feel exhausted. But Sigmas? They're built differently. Their energy is like a fortress, and not just any fortress, a highly secure, no-nonsense, keep-your-drama-out kind of fortress. This isn't something they consciously developed. It's not a defense mechanism or a learned skill. It's a natural state of being. Sigmas don't have to protect their energy like everyone else because their energy is already untouchable. People with weak mindsets, attention seekers, and emotional parasites try to sink their claws in, but it's like trying to punch a ghost. There's nothing to grab onto. This resistance isn't arrogance or coldness, it's simply efficiency. While others spend their lives caught in endless emotional entanglements, Sigmas operate with a streamlined presence. They don't get sucked into unnecessary conflicts, don't entertain pointless drama, and don't waste their time playing into someone else's emotional chaos. If they sense manipulation, they shut it down before it even begins. And here's what makes it even more fascinating. People feel this resistance and it drives them insane. There's something unsettling about a man who doesn't react the way people expect him to. When someone tries to provoke a Sigma and gets nothing in return, it's like throwing a punch at the air. It confuses them, frustrates them, and often makes them desperate for any reaction. But the Sigma? He remains unmoved. This is why so many people misinterpret Sigmas. Some say they're emotionless. Some say they're impossible to connect with. But that's not the case. They simply don't give their energy away for free. They choose where their energy flows, and that choice is not influenced by guilt, pressure, or expectations. That's what makes them different. That's what makes them untouchable. And that's why no matter how much the world tries to drain them, Sigmas never lose themselves. Number 2, the gift of unscripted intuition. Most people need instructions for everything. They follow trends, seek advice, and second-guess themselves at every turn. But Sigmas, they just know. There's no overthinking, no hesitation, just a raw, instinctual understanding of things most people take years or even a lifetime to figure out. This isn't luck, it's not some mystical fluke. It's unscripted intuition, a built-in internal compass that guides Sigmas through life with uncanny accuracy. They don't need someone to tell them what works and what doesn't, because they sense it before it even happens. While others analyze, debate, and hesitate, the Sigma has already moved 3 steps ahead, operating on a level of awareness that feels almost unfair. It's not that they know everything, it's that they know what matters. In conversations, they read between the lines without effort. In social settings, they detect power dynamics instantly. When faced with a choice, they don't drown in indecision, they act. The world rewards people who can adapt quickly, but Sigmas take it a step further. They anticipate reality before it unfolds. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. This gift makes them nearly impossible to manipulate. You can try to sell them a lie, but they'll sense something is off. You can try to push them into a bad decision, but they'll feel the weight of the mistake before it even happens. Their instincts act like a built-in **T detector, cutting through illusions, false promises, and empty words with ruthless efficiency. This is why Sigmas often seem so unshaken by life. They don't panic when things go wrong because deep down they already saw it coming. They don't obsess over mistakes because they learn faster than most. They don't need validation because their instincts prove themselves right over and over again. While the rest of the world keeps looking for signs, seeking guidance, and asking for permission, Sigmas move with quiet certainty. They don't need a script. They don't need approval. They just know. Number 3, the gift of shadow walking. Most people fear the darkness. They avoid their own demons, suppress uncomfortable truths, and cling to illusions that make life easier to swallow. But Sigmas, they walk straight into the abyss, and they don't flinch. This is the gift of shadow walking, the ability to explore the darkest corners of human nature without being consumed by them. While others break down when faced with harsh realities, Sigmas remain unaffected. They don't run from uncomfortable truths. They analyze them, understand them, and when necessary, use them to their advantage. This ability isn't just about understanding their own shadows. It extends to everyone around them. Sigmas see people as they truly are, not as they pretend to be. They sense hidden insecurities, unspoken fears, and suppressed desires. They can tell when someone's confidence is just a mask, when kindness is a calculated move, and when power is nothing more than an illusion. And here's where it gets unsettling. Most people don't even realize they've been exposed. Sigmas don't call people out. They don't need to. They just know. This silent awareness makes them unpredictable and dangerous, not in a violent way, but in a way that makes them impossible to manipulate. You can't lie to someone who already sees the truth. But what truly separates Sigmas from the rest is their ability to walk through the darkness without losing themselves. Most people who explore the depths of the human psyche either get trapped in their own demons or use that knowledge for control and destruction. Sigmas do neither. They understand the darkness, but they don't let it define them. They learn from it, but they don't become it. This is why fear, insecurity, and social pressure have no grip on them. They've already faced the worst parts of themselves. They've confronted the uncomfortable truths most people spend their lives avoiding. And because of that, nothing can truly break them. While the world hides from its shadows, Sigmas walk through them effortlessly. And that's why, no matter what life throws at them, they never lose their way. Number 4, the gift of timelessness. Society is addicted to trends. People chase what's new, obsess over what's in, and define their entire identity by whatever the world tells them is relevant at the moment. But Sigmas, they move differently. This is the gift of timelessness, the ability to see beyond the noise, beyond the temporary, beyond the illusions that trap everyone else in an endless loop of meaningless distractions. While the world constantly shifts its values, beliefs, and priorities, Sigmas remain aligned with something deeper, truths that never expire. They don't get caught up in the latest social narratives, don't chase approval based on current trends, and don't alter themselves to fit into whatever is considered acceptable today. Because they understand something most people don't. What's popular is rarely what's real. Society constantly reinvents its definitions of success, morality, and identity, yet Sigmas stay untouched by these artificial cycles. They aren't swayed by the herd because they think in decades, not days. This timeless perspective gives them an eerie level of patience. They don't rush to prove themselves, don't scramble for attention, and don't panic when the world tells them they're out of sync. They know that most of what people chase today will be forgotten tomorrow. Instead of reacting to every wave, they focus on what will still matter long after the waves are gone. And this is what makes them different from both the dreamers and the power-hungry. Some people are obsessed with nostalgia, clinging to the past as if it defines them. Others chase trends, desperate to stay ahead of the curve. But Sigmas, they exist outside of time. They extract wisdom from the past, adapt to the present, and prepare for the future, all without losing themselves in any of them. This is why they seem unaffected by social pressure, why they don't follow pointless rules, why they can disappear for years and return without missing a beat. They're never late, never early. They simply exist on their own frequency. And while the world keeps chasing its tail, Sigmas move forward, untouched by time itself. Number 5, the gift of unbreakable selfhood. Most people are shaped by their environment. They absorb opinions, bend under pressure, and allow society to mold them into whatever is expected. Their personalities shift based on who they're around. Their beliefs change depending on what's popular, and their values crumble the moment they're tested. But Sigmas, they don't break, they don't bend, and they sure as hell don't conform. This is the gift of unbreakable selfhood, the ability to remain completely untouched by external forces. No matter what the world throws at them, no matter how much pressure is applied, their core essence remains intact. They don't morph into someone else to fit in. They don't betray themselves for approval. They are who they were born to be, and nothing can change that. This isn't arrogance or stubbornness, it's an unshakable internal foundation. Sigmas know exactly who they are, what they stand for, and what they will never tolerate. While others seek validation from trends, authority figures, or the people around them, Sigmas operate on a different level. Their identity isn't built on external approval, it's built from within. That's why they're immune to manipulation, peer pressure, and the ever-changing rules of society. It's not that the world doesn't try to change them, it absolutely does. They face the same pressures everyone else does. They're told to fall in line, to play the game, to be realistic. But unlike the masses, they don't give in. The world can push, pull, and try to reshape them all at once. It won't work. Because Sigmas don't adapt to the system, they operate outside of it. And this terrifies people. Society thrives on control, and Sigmas are the one type of person it can't control. They don't need approval, they don't seek permission, and they don't chase what's expected. Their unbreakable nature is both a threat and a mystery to those who rely on conformity. While others are sculpted by the world around them, Sigmas remain untouched, unchanged, and completely themselves. And that is a power few will ever understand. Number 6, the gift of being a mirror. Most people go through life wearing masks, hiding their insecurities, pretending to be more confident than they are, and carefully curating the version of themselves they want the world to see. But when they come across a Sigma, something strange happens. Their mask stops working. This is the gift of being a mirror, the rare ability Sigmas have to reflect people's true nature back at them. Without even trying, they force others to confront who they really are, not who they pretend to be. This makes people either deeply drawn to them or completely uncomfortable. There is no in-between. A Sigma's presence alone strips away illusions. If someone is insecure, being around a Sigma magnifies that insecurity. If someone is arrogant, their arrogance suddenly feels hollow. If someone is lost, the clarity and self-assurance of a Sigma exposes just how lost they truly are. It's not that Sigmas actively try to break people down, it just happens naturally. Their detached, unaffected energy makes it impossible for people to keep up their usual social performances. This is why Sigmas often provoke strong reactions from others. Some people admire them instantly, feeling an almost magnetic pull toward their authenticity. Others resent them, sometimes without even understanding why. The truth is, people don't actually hate Sigmas. They hate what Sigmas make them realize about themselves. The most powerful aspect of this gift: Sigmas don't even have to speak for it to work. They can sit silently in a room, and within minutes people will start revealing things about themselves they never intended to share. It's as if something about a Sigma's presence pulls truth to the surface, whether people like it or not. This is why Sigmas attract both loyalty and hostility. The ones who are ready to grow will seek them out, drawn by their raw honesty and depth. The ones who are still running from themselves will do everything in their power to avoid them. Either way, one thing is certain: no one walks away from a Sigma unchanged. Number 7, the gift of unfiltered vision. Most people only see what's right in front of them. They take words at face value, believe appearances, and assume reality is exactly as it seems. But Sigmas, they see everything. This is the gift of unfiltered vision, the ability to perceive the world without illusions, distractions, or deception clouding their sight. While others get caught up in the surface-level details, Sigmas instinctively read between the lines. They sense the undercurrents beneath conversations, detect hidden motives before they're revealed, and pick up on subtle shifts in power long before anyone else realizes what's happening. This makes them nearly impossible to outmaneuver. Manipulators, liars, and power-hungry individuals find themselves at a dead end when dealing with a Sigma. You can't deceive someone who already sees the game you're playing. You can't control someone who's already 3 steps ahead of you. And you definitely can't fool someone who understands your real intentions better than you do. But it's not just about seeing through people. Sigmas also have an eerie ability to predict outcomes. They notice patterns others overlook. They see the small details that hint at a bigger picture. They don't need crystal balls or conspiracy theories to sense what's coming next. They just know. Whether it's in business, relationships, or social dynamics, they instinctively anticipate the shifts before they happen, positioning themselves accordingly. This is why Sigmas rarely panic. They're not caught off guard like everyone else because they already saw it coming. While the rest of the world reacts, Sigmas adapt before there's even a reason to react. This ability makes them dangerous in any competitive environment, whether it's the workplace, the social arena, or life itself. And the most unsettling part, they don't even try. They're not actively analyzing every situation, they just process information at a level most people can't comprehend. What others struggle to figure out, Sigmas simply see. This gift makes them both respected and feared. People who recognize their insights seek them out for guidance. Those who have something to hide avoid them at all costs. Because when you're in the presence of a Sigma, one thing is certain: nothing stays hidden for long. Number 8, the gift of death and rebirth. Most people fear change. They cling to outdated versions of themselves, trapped by their past, their ego, or society's expectations. But Sigmas, they embrace destruction, not in a reckless way, but in a way that allows them to evolve in ways most people never will. This is the gift of death and rebirth. The ability to shed old identities, burn away weaknesses, and rebuild themselves from the ashes over and over again. They don't hold on to who they used to be. If something in them no longer serves their growth, it dies, and they don't mourn it. They kill off limiting beliefs, outdated mindsets, and even entire personas without hesitation. This is why Sigmas can disappear from society for months or years, only to return as an entirely different force. While others are trapped in the same cycles, making the same mistakes, Sigmas undergo complete reinvention. They treat their identity like a weapon, constantly sharpening, upgrading, and fine-tuning it. But here's what makes this gift so rare. Most people don't survive their own transformation. They fear losing their comfort zone. They resist change even when they know it's necessary. But Sigmas, they let themselves die. Not physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, so they can come back stronger, sharper, and more untouchable than before. And the world doesn't know how to handle this. Society expects people to stay predictable, to follow the same patterns, to remain recognizable. But a Sigma never stays the same for long. Just when people think they've figured them out, they evolve again, leaving everyone else behind, stuck in a version of reality the Sigma has already outgrown. This is why Sigmas often seem detached from their past. They don't dwell on old versions of themselves because those versions no longer exist. They see life as a constant cycle of transformation, where survival isn't about holding on, it's about knowing when to let go. While others resist their own evolution, Sigmas embrace it. And that's why no matter what happens, they always come back stronger. Number 9, the gift of rewriting reality. Most people live inside a reality they never questioned, following rules they never wrote. They accept limits imposed by society, play by structures designed to keep them in place, and never once stop to ask, who decided this? But Sigmas, they don't just question reality, they rewrite it. This is the gift of rewriting reality, the ability to shape the world around them instead of being shaped by it. While others obey the invisible rules society forces on them, Sigmas instinctively understand that those rules are man-made, flexible, and often meaningless. They don't blindly follow traditions, social hierarchies, or acceptable ways of living. If something doesn't align with their personal truth, they discard it without hesitation. This ability makes them frustratingly unpredictable to those who try to control them. Authority figures can't box them in because they don't acknowledge the box in the first place. Social expectations don't work on them because they don't seek validation. And the concept of fitting in is irrelevant because they don't play by anyone else's game. They create their own. But this gift isn't just about rejecting what exists, it's about building something better. Sigmas don't just destroy limitations, they replace them with new personal laws, ones that give them complete control over their own existence. They decide what success means, they determine what rules apply to their life. They construct their own framework for thinking, acting, and winning on their own terms. This is why Sigmas are so unshakable. They don't break under pressure because they're not playing the same game as everyone else. While others panic when their reality collapses, Sigmas simply build a new one. They adapt, reconstruct, and reshape their world whenever necessary, making them nearly impossible to pin down or control. And here's the most unsettling part. Most people don't realize reality is even an option to rewrite. They are trapped inside structures someone else created for them, but Sigmas, they walk their own path, follow their own rules, and live in a world of their own design. Number 10, the gift of psychic detachment. Most people are emotionally entangled in the world around them. They get swept up in social expectations, manipulated by guilt and blinded by personal biases. But Sigmas, they see everything for what it truly is, without attachments, without illusions, without lies. This is the gift of psychic detachment, the rare ability to strip away the layers of deception and perceive reality with absolute clarity. Where others are swayed by emotions, propaganda, and social conditioning, Sigmas remain untouched. They observe rather than absorb. They understand rather than react. And most importantly, they are immune to the emotional manipulation that controls the masses. People who rely on guilt-tripping, victimhood, or emotional baiting quickly realize something unsettling. It doesn't work on a Sigma. They can see through crocodile tears, manufactured outrage, and performative kindness with surgical precision. Not because they're cold or heartless, but because they know the difference between genuine emotion and weaponized emotion. This detachment also allows them to remain unaffected by false narratives. Society constantly pushes carefully constructed illusions about success, morality, relationships, and power. Most people accept these narratives without question, adjusting their beliefs and behaviors accordingly. But Sigmas, they don't buy into any of it. They analyze, dissect, and discard anything that doesn't align with their own internal truth. And this is what makes them so unpredictable. You can't guilt them into following the crowd. You can't pressure them into playing along. You can't fool them with emotional performances or carefully scripted stories. While the rest of the world is lost in a fog of deception, Sigmas walk through it with their vision completely clear. But here's the paradox. This very detachment is what allows them to connect on a deeper level. Because they aren't swayed by superficial emotions, they can see people as they truly are. They recognize real pain versus manufactured drama. They understand unspoken fears and suppressed desires. And because of this, their presence alone can be both unnerving and magnetic. The world thrives on illusion, but Sigmas, they exist above it. The world doesn't create Sigmas. Sigmas create themselves. While others move through life bound by invisible chains, rules, expectations, and limitations they never chose, Sigmas break free, carving their own path with relentless precision. These gifts aren't just skills or learned behaviors. They are built into the very essence of a Sigma. They don't need validation to trust their intuition. They don't fear the darkness because they've already mastered it. They don't cling to old identities because they understand that survival isn't about staying the same. It's about knowing when to evolve. And this is what truly sets them apart. They don't fight for power in the way the world expects. They don't seek control over others, don't waste time chasing illusions, and don't bend to the artificial structures that keep the masses in place. Instead, they do something far more powerful. They master themselves. That is why they cannot be controlled, why they cannot be broken, why they move through life untouched by forces that consume everyone else. The world will never fully understand them, but that has never been their concern. Because Sigmas don't exist to be understood, they exist to be unstoppable. If this awakens something in you, if you recognize the power of these gifts or see glimpses of them in yourself, then you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and become part of a movement that sees beyond the surface. Like this video if it resonated with you, drop a comment below with your thoughts. And let's build a space where true individuals can thrive. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, someone stuck in the illusions of the world, share this with them. Because knowledge like this isn't just meant to be kept, it's meant to ignite something unstoppable. Welcome to the Sigma mindset. Now let's keep moving forward and without apology, because in the end, real always recognizes real. And when the surface fades, the ones who've done the inner work will be the ones still standing, not looking to be chosen, but choosing with clarity. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.